Welcome to my basement, everybody. Hope everybody's had a fantastic weekend. Listen, Wonder Woman is out in theaters. We've reviewed it on our Film Fury channel. But I have to tell you something. The whole time that I was in that theater watching that movie, I was thinking of my friend. She's right over there. And I thought, why the hell isn't Marissa Roberto with me in this screening? And I thought, I've got to reach out to her because we've got to connect and talk about Wonder Woman and many other things. So here she is, the very, very lovely, the very talented, and the very missed Marissa Roberto. How are you?
I love hearing those compliments. I'm great. I'm good. I'm happy to be in this little box here up in the basement.
It's like the Brady Bunch now, isn't it? Pretty much. This is a
no,
story.
You need to get little Ben Silverman in here, get him popping up. Steve Tilly. That's
our future right there. I'm probably spoiling something here because we might end up doing this at one point in the future. Is we're thinking of creating putting a mannequin just in a chair beside me with a monitor head, and then streaming a Skype person's conversation, just their head, and it would be perfect because you're on a green screen, so it would be amazing. You could actually be here.
I'm ready. I'm ready to go right now. We don't need to be in the same city. We're fine.
We don't.
We're good.
No, this
all
is
the way in the T-Dot.
This is the
T-Dot.
The technical bluebird. Look at you. You're always throwing down, showing your support for Toronto. I love it. The people up there love it. That's pretty rad. We miss you. We miss you in Vancouver, though.
You know what? We're having a very Vancouver day here. It's very gray and kind of rainy, and it feels like I'm in Vancouver right now.
Yeah.
With you right now. It's like it's happening. I miss being back in a basement. This is great. I miss you, Blake. I miss you, buddy. Love you, Blake.
Marissa misses you, buddy. We've got a bunch of people that are in the chat, and we are going to answer questions.
Okay.
I know people are going to have questions for you, and probably some comments about Wonder Woman as well. Patrick Furtado, Angie S, Taz, Suki Gill, Mr. Precision. Hey, Kyle. How's it going, buddy? And Audrion Leon. There's a bunch of other people in there, too. Good to see everyone. Kisses and hugs from both sides of Canada. But let's get into, let's catch up a little bit. You are obviously the face of Xbox Canada right now.
Wow. I don't want to take that title. Maybe. I would love that, but I'm just mostly like Xbox Canada community. So basically, I'm a fan, and I get to facilitate conversations with other fans. That's basically it. I don't have any insider info. I don't know what they're going to be announcing at E3. I have no idea. I'm literally going there as a fan and get to document all of it.
You're guessing my next questions right there.
Yeah.
I guess we've hung out quite a bit, so you knew exactly what I was going to ask you. So you don't have a Scorpio set up at home right now on a 4K TV.
I don't. I'm going to get my first hands-on with all of these things at E3, which I missed so badly. I didn't go last year, and I had serious FOMO.
Right.
And I'm just excited to see you there. I'm excited to see, the old EP crew. Steve Tilley's even going as well, and we'll see Ben Silver. It's just going to be, I'm really excited about all that. But honestly, Vic, no, I don't have, they literally, I am the host of Xbox All for One, but I literally am a fan. I'm basically getting paid to host the show, but I'm essentially a fan at the end of the day that gets to hang out with other fans.
Yeah, sure. But as far as most viewers know you now, you are the face of Xbox Canada because you're all over the place, and people are very happy to see you and very happy for you that you've got this cool gig. Are you having a good time? Is it a fun job?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's not as
Wait, you can't say it's too fun, all right? Because just remember who you're talking to. Okay.
So never. I would never do that. But it's not as and you and I did 2 daily shows together. So we were constantly reviewing everything, playing everything, watching everything, writing things, producing shows. So there was a lot to do all the time. With this, it's very lax. We shoot just once a month, basically. I have an event tomorrow at Raiders Esports Club. We're helping an Xbox gamer. We're celebrating getting to 250,000 for a gamer score. So we're having a big setup there, and it's going to be live. We're going to do stuff like that. It's everything for fan service and for the fans. But other than that, it's just, it's a once a month kind of thing. So it's one of those easy jump in there, be a fan, talk to other fans, and then that's it. So it's not as intense as what you and I did together. if that's a fair comparison.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, are you working with good people, and are they?
Of course, yeah.
Did they used to watch you in the programming that you were on and stuff? Like, was there an awareness of where you came from with all of this?
Yeah, for the most part, like the Xbox people that I get to work with knew of the show for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's different because it's not like you and I got to, like, we would critique things, and I don't do that for this show, right? So I had to put on a different hat entirely. Like, it's more facilitating other people to get to critique things and get to play things and offer me their opinions versus me constantly giving my opinion about everything. So I have to dial it back with that a little bit. But yeah, so it's just, honestly, it's different, but it's cool because I get to learn a different skill set almost where it's like, Marissa, shut up. Like, maybe let somebody else talk. It's one of those things.
Well, I mean, one of the things that I totally know about the Xbox world is that community is incredibly passionate and incredibly vocal. And it's much larger than I think people kind of recognize, because obviously they're kind of getting beaten up a little bit by the PlayStation right now. But they've grown like crazy in that Xbox space over the years, and people are very loyal. And I guess you're kind of right in the center of all of that right now, right? You're getting to know all kinds of actual players.
Oh man, yeah, it's so cool, and to see the passion behind it. Just some of the the Xbox Canada community really cultivates and gets to know and finds real fans. These people love and are so dedicated to Xbox, and you get to hear their stories, and just hearing how, like, they met other fans and other people through Xbox. They have real close ties with these people. Like, one of the guys that I'm working with actually at E3, his son's godfather is a guy that he met through Xbox Live. Like, it's just really facilitating this community, this hub where you don't really need anything else. You just need an Xbox. Although, like, to be fair and to be honest, I've been playing a lot of Zelda and a lot on my Switch. Like, they're totally cool with me, like, loving Nintendo and playing Nintendo games. They're not making sure, like, I only play Xbox. They're just allowing me to be a fan, which is what I think they do for most of the fans that are part of the community.
Okay, so just to be clear, Xbox didn't paint the wall in your apartment
there.
No.
No, this is my
they didn't say no. You can live anywhere you want as long as it's a greenhouse, and you can only ever broadcast as long as you're from Green. You got to be green all the time. I've got
to be green all the time. No, they didn't say that. Although I'm pretty sure they would frown on me wearing blue to any kind of shoots, to be honest. But no, there is. This is my shitty green screen. Welcome to it. Yeah. I ordered it off Amazon, thinking, Marissa, you were gonna stream. You're gonna do it. You're going to dedicate yourself to it. I don't know what the fuck is going on. Like, I try to connect all these wires. I don't know how you do it. I still don't get it. Like, I still don't get it.
It is the hardest thing in the world to go from television to streaming on the internet. I got to tell you. Yeah. Stuff made sense. But, it's like we had, like, tubes and wires and, like, cranks everywhere. And things on stuff that we would, like gas-powered, old camera equipment. And now they're like, here's your little thimble-sized here. Just plug this in. It's everything. It's microphone, camera, it streams, and it just hooks up to your. Actually, don't even use that. Just use your machine. Yeah. It's what?
So how? Yeah. How?
Yeah. Use your.
I'm
console.
still trying to figure that out. I have, like, it's all set up. I literally set up everything, and now, like, mixers here, right? So I'm trying to get into the mixer game.
If you want to throw it out to the Toronto community to have some people come over and help you set it up, I'm sure that'll happen. Do you want to give out your address and phone number, right?
Like, that's not a problem too, that I would love to help, but I also, like, want my place to still remain anonymous. Like, yes. I don't want people to know exactly where I live. It's in the beaches area, but that's all I really want to disclose.
Yeah, I hear you.
But no, I
certainly honestly, one or two people from Xbox that might be able to come over and help. Do you want me to talk to some people?
No. I want the satisfaction. I want the satisfaction of doing it myself. It's like fighting, one of the really hard temples in Zelda. Yeah. When you have to fight, it's like the major test of strength.
Yes.
I so badly wanted to give up so many times and get my fiance. I'm like, babe, can you just do this one for me? Like, I can't do it. It's driving me crazy. Please. Like, I'm gonna throw the Switch out the window. I'm so upset. And he's like, you know what? No, I'm not going to, because you need to figure this out for yourself. And it took me hours, and I finally did it, and it just felt so good. I was, like,
so
running
satisfying.
In the streets.
Yeah,
Sorry?
It's so satisfying. It's amazing.
It's so satisfying to finally get it. So this is basically my major test of strength.
Uh-huh.
this streaming shit. Like once I get it.
Well, you never will though, because once you get it, they are way better, and they're on the next app. Like now Xbox has their thing, right? What's the Xbox
Mixer.
one? The Mixer. I haven't even tested that one out yet. That's kind of why we've been huddled around the YouTube glow and the fireplace of the familiar with YouTube.
Sure.
But we know like there's Discord and all of these other things that are out there. Jeff Kanata is working on some other one. You know what?
Only because
Scott came to. We're talking about Zelda for a second. Scott came to Vancouver for a quick trip, and he and I went out for brunch and talked about Zelda for half of the brunch.
Oh God, it's so great.
It's just taken over everybody's life, and I got stuck in that game, and I was embarrassed because I couldn't get past something. This is just pre-review. And so I FaceTimed with Jose, who had already beaten the damn game because that guy's an animal and a machine. And so he picks it up and he's at a party, like a video game party in the middle of San Francisco, and it's the bass is thumping, poof, and I'm like, dude, how do you get past that? I need to get all the astronomy stuff has to sync up, and he's like, what, you can't get it? And he starts showing my face to everybody. I'm like in my underwear playing Zelda, and he's walking around the party going, Vic's stuck in the game, loser. And he helped me out though.
Laughing at you.
Yeah, that was nice. Yeah.
Jose.
But he did help me, and that game,
good.
You cannot refute how incredible that game is, no matter what part of the industry you're from. You know, that's been a common denominator.
Well, no, it's great because it combines really so many games that we love so much with like this Zelda twist. So like I was obsessed with Skyrim for like really, and I felt like that was my number one game for as long as till this moment, till Zelda came out, and I just felt like this is giving me everything that I had and loved about Skyrim, but giving it to me on a Nintendo platform that I can take with me anywhere, and this beautiful world that I get to play Link in. Like I can't even describe how sweet it is to me to get to first of all take this thing with me everywhere and share it with people, but then just have it whenever I want.
The Xbox All for One shoots by chance. Are you ever in the corner playing your Switch as they're setting up to talk about it?
Who wants to play Switch? No, like we do talk about it. It's
you
not
bring
like,
the console wars right to set. I love it.
I take it with me. Honestly, like I don't know. When I think about console wars, I never think about Nintendo in the mix with that anymore. I feel like Nintendo is its own thing. It's always been its own thing. You can't really compare. You can't really have those bro downs when it comes to Nintendo at all. It's a completely separate thing.
But now that you have a Switch and you see how cool it is to take your console and plug it in and play it on the TV and then walk away with it, don't you want the Xbox to do that and the PlayStation?
Of course,
right? Like it just
that's all I want now.
Right? They should all do that. But it would be a lot of components and a lot of R&D and a lot of expense, and everybody's pushing for teraflops and the 4Ks and all that. You know?
Yeah, no, for sure. Well, the thing, but you can't really compare, like when you have an online community, like you can't really, like Nintendo's not in the mix there either because I don't have any, like Nintendo's a very solitary gaming experience for me. I don't really, like they're not going to introduce this playing online thing or this community online thing for like how long now?
Oh, they will, but you got to use your cell phone.
Right, like I don't.
It's so
like
ridiculous.
What the hell?
Yeah, I know.
So you don't have you can't really compare that. You just can't compare the online community at all.
No.
So it's just two separate, like two different worlds completely. Like that's why they're not in the mix. Nintendo's not in the mix. That's why they don't even do like the E3 big stage thing anymore. Yeah,
they're in the Nintendo business. Okay, so we can all agree that Zelda's amazing, and playing the Switch and Zelda is really fun, and it's a great escape. You've got the Xbox show going right now and having a good time with that. What do you think Xbox is going to reveal at E3? What's your prediction?
Vic, you think that I'm allowed to do that?
Well, you could predict, because you just told me you don't know.
I don't know. I don't know anything. But really,
listen, you won't be quoted by a million Xbox sites. I promise you. The spokesperson for an Xbox show will not be quoted on her expert advice on what.
We just talked about how we can't even when we go to the show floor, like pre briefing, we can't even be like, so what do you think they're going to talk about? We can't do that, because even though we don't know, it will come across like, well, they definitely know, and that's why they're talking about it. So I don't know. I'm really not allowed to know, and I'm not allowed to comment on how I don't really know.
And you can see the laser lights. They're beating on her head right now. The snipers are on the roof across the street. They're dressed all in green, of course. Okay, do you want to make any predictions of when Nintendo or PlayStation will? You can throw down some ideas there, right?
No, I don't, but I can tell you what I want out of Nintendo. I want another fucking Animal Crossing game. I can tell you that right now.
I don't think you're going to get it if you ask for it that way.
Well, yeah.
You potty mouth.
Reggie! Like, how awesome would it be? Like, I realize that I still have a 3DS. Like, I get that, but I don't even care about that shit anymore. I just want the Switch. So now that we have it, I want an Animal Crossing game that I can take with me everywhere and maybe share with friends.
Yes, I think that's going to happen. I think that's going to happen. I think there's going to be one from every big category, every big franchise that they have over there. But some of them might be ports of what we've already seen before, like Super Mario.
Yeah.
Like, obviously that's successful, and there were lots of Wii U titles that didn't see the audience that they deserve. So I think they're going to bring a lot of that over. But I think what they're going to do is say, boom, boom, boom. Here's your Animal Crossing. Here's a Metroid. Here's a Pokemon that isn't Pokken Tournament. They're going to give us a little taste of everything. But I don't know if they're going to be the next
listen, that's fine. I would take
Zelda
a new Leaf
thing
on the Switch.
Yeah, totally. That would be incredible.
I'm fine with that. They just did an update a little while ago, so why not?
Absolutely. All right. Well, let's take a couple of questions here, because the chat is on fire.
Oh,
and
really?
People are very, very happy to see you. We've got a Beeve Towski. Hi, Vic and Marissa. Hello from Nova Scotia. Ryan Davies. Morrowind is out now. You guys should be playing that game. Good show, guys. Keep it up. He's like in between bouts of playing Morrowind. He's back over here talking to us for a second. Sounds like a fun gig. Angie is approving of your Xbox operations over there, which is awesome. Oh, and Mr. Precision, a big fan of your outtakes. I saw the bleepy swear one. That's pretty cool.
They're all bleep. All the outtakes are just me swearing. And after I saw the first one, I'm like, listen, guys, I'm not going to swear anymore. I'm not going to. And I thought that I hadn't until they released that. Like, oh, I guess I still swear a lot. I keep trying to say, instead of saying the F word, I keep trying to say nerds, like all nerds. So like good. I'm trying to do like the Liz Lemon thing and not actually say, like, it's not very ladylike, but I don't know how to not be that way.
It's very Marissa-like. We're gonna talk about ladylike stuff when we talk about Wonder Woman, but
feminism.
Feminism. But these people don't know you like I know you and your potty mouth.
It's so true.
And your crop dusting. 160 hours into Zelda. Fred Wicks, who also says hello. Still 16 freaking Karok seeds to go. Obsession. All in capital letters. Fred, we feel for you, buddy.
Yeah, seriously.
Get outside though. The Switch works outside. What do we got here? Rest in peace, Canadian price, if that's the case. Scorpio will be priced at $599 US, is what Andrew is saying. So we've got. Can you confirm that, Marissa?
I cannot confirm that. But no, I did. Like, I was assuming that it was going to be crazy expensive. And honestly, if you think about it, it seems like it's going to be for people, obviously, with 4K televisions.
Yes.
So people that have those usually have a couple bucks in the pocket that they can maybe spend, and maybe that's why it'll go hand in hand with the Scorpio. Like, I don't know. I shouldn't even be saying these things. Really.
I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be the prestige console machine, right? I actually had this thing, and you can't, like, this is just going to be a total one-sided conversation here, but I think that this will probably piss off a lot of Xbox diehards, but I think a very smart move for Xbox to do would be to open it up to some kind of a Steam relationship where you could turn it into a bit of a Steam machine. So because you can already play Xbox games on the PC, why not go the other way around and suddenly open up the floodgates to lots of other types of games, maybe just the games that are playable with a controller, and allow you to port over a Steam library or your Steam account over to the machine, and kind of, suddenly completely changed the conversation about what a console is, what a PC gamer is, and what an Xbox gamer is.
It would be nice to have that because, PC gamers will live and die by the fact that their engines are better, that they can run more, that they are the most powerful being in the world. So it would be nice to have a console that literally you can compare those two things, like that's up there with the PC. So like a powerful PC. So I don't know. We'll see. I don't want to say anything bad about PC gamers. Never mind. I was going to say because I don't, that I cannot PC game. I don't get the QWERTY thing. I don't get it. And I've never been able to get it.
PC gamers are sitting pretty, man, because they're getting tons of great console ports. They're getting the best prices. They've got this massive back catalog. They don't ever have to worry about backwards competibility.
That's what I mean. They already have everything. So why don't they stop rubbing it in my face?
I don't think they are, but I think
I'm just kidding.
Xbox has an opportunity there, because of its sort of playing field, where it kind of is positioned with all kinds of stuff. Anyways, that's a huge deal. We can talk about that a little bit down the road, maybe after E3 when we actually start to know what some of the details are. Mr.
Yeah, well, we can talk then.
Yeah, absolutely, and we will.
We can talk after the Xbox briefing, yeah.
Mr. Blake Siefkin says, I'm a Mac gamer with a happy face. He's very...
Shut up, Blake. just shut your mouth.
Stirring the shit right there. Let's see. What do we have? Tech Junkie wants to know if I use Snapchat, because Marissa is an avid Snapchatter of all delicious food. I've opened up Snapchat. That's not for me, man.
It's not for you.
Did I just call it Snapchat? That's kind of the way I feel. That's kind of the way I feel about it. No, I just feel like it's making fun of me. It's like there's somebody on the other end of the Snapchat thing, even before I've put anything in, just going, look at that guy. He's trying to figure it out. Look at him. I bet you they have like the reverse camera shots of all kinds of people that are not 15 or are trying to understand how to use the app. And then they're gonna hide that and then release all of that at some point down the road.
Oh God, that would be so entertaining.
Yes.
That's one of the things you sign your life away to when you click accept.
Yeah.
You have Instagram, and you have the option to use the Instagram story mode now, which is essentially Snapchat. So why don't you just start with that? Because honestly, I've really migrated a lot of my content that I would normally put on Snapchat to Instagram story, and so just use that instead. That's what it is. It's for you now, Vic. People that don't like using Snapchat, it's Instagram story. I
don't have time to make stories on Instagram. I remember every couple of days. Oh yeah, I have Instagram. I can put a picture up. Boop. I don't.
Oh my gosh.
I don't have time to think about. We're cranking on content that is cut together and up on our YouTube channel and stuff like that. And,
I get it. I get it. But you can't, I got a real talking to by a social media specialist who told me that I'm not how can I even expect to have any kind of following on Instagram if I don't post every day? Yeah. And I can't I'm like, how do you, posting an Instagram photo never actually gives me anxiety sometimes, because okay, well, it has to be good lighting, it has to be something good that's happening. It can't just be a stupid I hate the selfie thing. I know that I have to do it more, but I feel like there needs to be something more to just taking a photo of myself. There needs to be other things happening.
Absolutely.
Or at least something cool that just something cool going on in the photo. Producing one of those photos is a lot of anxiety. It takes me forever. So I understand why you wouldn't want to, invest time in Instagram, really, because it is anxiety inducing. In fact, it's the one social media platform that has the highest depression rate or something. It causes the most depression among users, which is pretty messed up.
Well, we live in a kind of a crazy world, right? We have to think about all these different ways that we can reach people. And it's... I like it. I like being able to put cool photos and have this extra online library up there and sharing it with everybody. But the story stuff seems, for me, more than I want to sort of commit to at this point. I feel
that's fair, but people do want to see. I would love to see your afternoon with Ruby at the park. You know what I mean? I want to. The story offers a way for the viewer to live a little bit of your life with you just for a moment, and you get to share whatever you want. It doesn't obviously, you don't have to show everything. Just show if you're at the park with Ruby. The other day when you posted that she was reading comics and she had her little scooter with her, that was so freaking cute. I would have loved to have seen a little video of that just for a second of her and the thing, because she's so precious, the things that she says, and I don't know, maybe you don't want to share so much of her online, but
Well, that's part of it for sure. There's two things there. I don't want to be the dad that's always on his phone all the time, and I live in the online space more than I ever have. You know, like our content is almost exclusively viewed online. And so not only are we posting and working with that work, but I'm also interacting with people that are watching that stuff and tweeting about it. So I've got the phone in front of me more than I ever had, and I've always been a person that's had these technologies available to them. So I'm aware of that, and I don't want Ruby to just know me as that guy with this surgically attached phone. And I don't want to sort of co-opt her agency to decide whether she wants to be online as much as I would love to share her with the world, you know? I would love for her to be here, you know, and co-hosting with me every once in a while and just, you know, doing some stuff. But I kind of want it to be a very organic thing that she agrees with and that her mother agrees with. And, you know, we make that happen, but it's a tricky thing. I know a lot of families and a lot of people are super cool with sort of that much exposure and that much stuff, but we are definitely, as a family, our family is grappling with the amount of screen time that we have, particularly because so much of my work is that too, you know.
That's true.
And Ruby sees that too, right? So
you're right.
You know, her favorite thing this week has been, were you playing ARMS? She puts her little her little hands on her waist. And she says, "Were you playing ARMS, Dad? Were you playing ARMS?" She keeps asking.
She's so cute.
She keeps asking me, and she's like, "Yeah, you caught me. Yep, I was playing ARMS. I'm back."
Why is she so sweet? Anyway, so obviously I want you to put one of those up on your Instagram story. So back to things that I want, and less of what you want to post.
Fair enough.
I'm the audience. Want to see more of your life.
I'm a super proud dad, you know. Like I would absolutely throw more of that stuff up there, but I don't want to be too crazy with all that stuff.
I get it. No, I don't have a child, so I don't know the struggles with that. I only know, like, you know, that's why I post my food. I'm proud of my food. I don't know.
Honestly, it is so different. Actually, Casey, who works with I forget his last name right now, Casey Lynch, who used to work at IGN and works with Square, he just tweeted the other day that, you know, shout out to all the dads that are going down to E3 or all the parents that are going down to E3, because it's you know, balancing all of this stuff and trying to be available as a parent and all that stuff is a whole new thing, you know, like it's so easy to get lost in these worlds and to be thinking about your content and all of that stuff all the time. It's very easy, right?
No, I know, but still be a dad and still be present. No, I'm assuming that would be very tough. I haven't lived that life yet. I'm actually a little scared of it, to be honest. I don't know how you do it.
Well, it's all gratifying, though. You know, it really is. And, you know, the other thing that I certainly recognize, because when the show went off the air, I didn't know what I was going to do right away. You know, it took me a little sort of figuring out, and I'm still figuring it out, but it took me a little while to kind of, you know, sort of grapple with what was next. And it kind of hit me that it's probably a very good thing for my daughter to see that I'm hustling and I'm busy. And I'm trying to get stuff going, and I've got meetings, and I'm you know, taking trips and doing interviews and all of this stuff. Actually, she just saw I took her to see Captain Underpants on the weekend.
Oh, how was that?
It was good. It was actually a fun little kids movie. There were no girls in the movie, though, which was kind of really ridiculous. They had a couple background things, but it was just about these two guy kid friends, and then they had they turned the principal into Captain Underpants, and then the villain was Mr. Poopy Pants. It's very young. It's for very young people.
I mean, I guess I understand that, but I don't know if the kids now still, when they're young, if they still, you know, go into girl and boy groups, like if they play together all the time, or if they're still like very much, I'm going to play with the girls, and boys, I'm going to play with the boys.
It's not so much about that. It's about representation. It's about seeing... You know, and I can tell you the story of Ruby seeing me edit the Ghostbusters review that I did last year, and she looked over my shoulder and she said, "There are girl Ghostbusters," and she was 4, and I was like, "Holy shit, she gets this already."
She recognizes.
There's already this, you know, remove from the idea that women can be anything. And she's 4, and she's seeing that, and that hit me like a ton of bricks, you know, and yeah, it's really kind of shaped my observations on the way media is created. But the movie was good. But I don't know if you know, but I worked with Nintendo to do a behind the scenes thing, and so we did a pre-show interview with ARMS. We went down to Nintendo of America, and it airs before the movies. And
so cool.
Yeah, for the month of June. So we've got this little EP hit of me visiting Nintendo and asking one of the Treehouse guys all about ARMS, and Ruby saw it on the big screen. That's my dad. That's my daddy. And like people were looking over at me from next to us.
Sweet.
It was very cute. It was very cool. So
I mean, obviously, like you think of a kid like Ruby, you think of just young girls everywhere, and then getting to see. Obviously, we're going to get into Wonder Woman in a second here, but getting to see something like that happen on a big screen and having like the fact that my eyes just lit up completely. I can't even imagine the mindset of a young girl that doesn't really know like the hate in this world yet. She doesn't understand the prejudice in this world yet, or like or any stereotypes. Like she doesn't get that yet. All she sees is this beautiful, powerful woman, and so she can feel that empowerment too. Like that's what excites me about seeing a movie like this, or even the Women Ghostbuster movie. Like it wasn't my favorite movie.
No.
There were a lot of things wrong with it, but I hated the internet backlash over even just when the trailer came out. Like why?
All of this shit, like with the 2 Star Wars movies recently, with people sort of getting offended that they're being led by female stars and female heroes, and it's disgusting that there is any sort of hesitation to believe in these people, and to support work like this. It's really, really gross. But hopefully through these awful incidents and these awful conversations that are really uncomfortable and hard for people to have, things will start to get better and improve, especially if the content keeps getting better and better and is very good and solid and bankable, and like the Star Wars films have been, and now Wonder Woman has been, and it's it's too bad about Ghostbusters, because I actually liked a lot of the casting choices and some of the ideas behind it, but it wasn't funny. I mean, that was the major problem with the movie. It just wasn't a good enough film.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because you give you put these women in this role, and there's going to be a lot of backlash, and so you really want it to be amazing. Like it better be amazing, or else we're never going to have this again. Like you're scared of that kind of thing happening because you just feel like execs just want to be politically correct for a second, and then they'll please the audiences that are complaining. And then if it's not as great as it's supposed to be, well, we're never going to do this again. Just forget it. It was a failed experiment.
Yeah.
So I didn't want that to happen. But I feel like it's not going to happen now because Wonder Woman was great, directed by a woman. Like just so many. Although I gotta say, I had a couple problems with the movie, but overall it was a really good experience. I think see it twice.
It's not perfect, absolutely.
No.
I am curious. I've only seen it once, and I was really, really impressed, and I felt I was getting emotional in the seat and supercharged and ready to yelp out, and it was cool. I said this in my review, but there was a woman that was 2 seats away from me, and she actually stood up in her chair, and she was just like getting right into it, and so it was awesome. It was awesome to be transported with this character that is so well known, and so respected, but has been just forgotten about for so long.
Yeah, but also like she's been altered over time, right? And so then there was these images where you think like Wonder Woman's supposed to have big tits, and Wonder Woman's supposed to like just the way that her character has evolved over time with just different animators and different comics, different things where you may have seen Wonder Woman. But at the heart, Wonder Woman has always been created by a feminist. William Moulton Marston was a feminist. He believed in the women's liberation movement, and that is one of the reasons why he created this character.
That's awesome.
To be this icon for women everywhere, to empower them, to make them realize that you don't need to rely on a man to feel powerful, to live your life. You don't need that. You can be strong just with yourself. And even in the movie even points out the fact that technically like we only really need men for reproduction. Like you don't need to rely on a man for anything other than that. So I'm sure that a lot of misogynists in the audience were rolling their eyes at that moment. But for me, it was great. It was really funny. it was just a really funny moment with her and Steve on the boat, just getting to know each other a little bit. But the fact that we got to go to Themyscira. We got to go to this island where these Amazons live, and like to feel the empowerment of these women just fighting each other, just training, just in case something bad happens. They're going to keep training, they're going to keep fighting, and they have this amazing community with each other. I think should cultivate a little bit more of that in our own society. Like, because women, for some reason, we grew up in a world where we feel we need to compete with other women. We need to pit ourselves against them. Unfortunately, we have those communities here. We have that society. So that's why I was so. I mean, there was, obviously you saw that there was a screening for just women that was held. And now there's somebody suing over that. And I was really like, first when I saw that, I was like, you know what, there's going to be a lot of backlash over this because, being a feminist means you want equality. And if we're having equality, then we shouldn't really just have, female only anything. There should be integration. But I also understand it from the point that, you know what, we have been waiting for this for so long. We've been waiting for this movie for so long, and to have a female director, to have a strong female lead, and to get to be in a room with just women supporting other women is a big deal. So to have that, I feel like we shouldn't get so upset over something so silly. There's so many people upset over it.
Well, I think that anybody that's got any, sort of emotional maturity or any kind of strength of character would not even think that this would be something to discuss. It just is. It's something that should be undeniably celebrated and recognized as valuable culturally, and that's the strength of getting this movie made, at the quality level that it has been made. And to hear some of the tales of what Patty Jenkins was going through, I just read recently that the No Man's Land scene where Wonder Woman comes out of the trench and sort of fights for this beaten down little village. There were executives at Warner Brothers that were questioning why she would want to do that. Why can't we just get to the fight sooner, to the big bad guy fight at the end? They were actually pushing to have that not be in there. And
oh God, that was such an important moment.
Well, that was where Patty, and she, in the interview, in the story that I read, Patty Jenkins really kind of underlined that that's where the character becomes Wonder Woman. That's where she kind of recognizes that all of this power and training and strength and purpose that she has is meant to help people that need that help, and that's why she exists. And that's the first time we see her in her costume, in her outfit.
Garb,
and that's the first time that she recognizes how powerful she is against this foreign machinery that exists, right? Because up until then, it had all been spears and bows and arrows and horseback riding and this kind of utopian ideal of a place stuck in a moment in time. And now she's facing all of this modern warfare technology, and she's more powerful than any of it. And that was an incredible sequence.
Oh yeah. No, that was so great. That was such an empowering moment as well, just to watch that unfold and to see the slow motion walking at first, and she's Wonder Woman. She's got this.
Well, you know what's awesome about this movie, and people commented under my review of the thing on Film Fury was I'm saying how powerful these women are and how empowered all these women are. It really fucking sucks that we have to even frame it that way.
I know.
Because we don't see Guardians of the Galaxy and talk about how Chris Pine is empowering for the male identity, or Captain America represents.
You know what? No, you guys have had enough. You guys have had a lot of that. You don't think about that.
We don't even talk about it. And frankly, Wonder Woman exists like that too. She's just a kick-ass, badass superhero. She's amazing. It's just amazing to watch her in action, and she beats the crap out of these idiot bad guys that want to do harm to other people, and including the big bad at the end. And that's where the movie just went. It went bonkers. But as a comic nerd, that was like, holy shit! They put that in there. This is incredible. I loved all of that stuff. But
I mean, I don't know
think
how
it's just
we're going to go into
super fun.
spoilers, but
yeah, let's spoil. Let's definitely spoil this thing. So you've now seen it twice.
Yeah.
Tell me some of your favorite stuff about the movie first. Let's get into some of the problems, and let's talk about the ending a little bit later.
Okay, yeah. So the first screening that I went to, obviously, I'm just super pumped on it. I'm just ready to get in there. I have my Wonder Woman shirt on. I'm looking for other girls in the audience that might have Wonder Woman shirts on. I was just really excited about this. Couldn't find anybody until actually the end of the screening. I found a girl dressed up in full Wonder Woman garb. I was
Right
so
on.
stoked on it, especially in Saskatoon. It's like, wait a minute, like where are my ladies? But it was just so wonderful getting to go, like you see Gal or you see Diana just at first getting the note from Bruce, and then you get transported into like, okay, now she's going to tell her story. I love that whole sequence because it wasn't too long. It was quick. This is where she is now in this world, but let's go back in time. So she went to, her origin story, and you get to go transported to this island that is so beautiful. But what makes it beautiful is these women working together and making this island work for them. And that was this whole solidarity thing. That was what was exciting. And like, you feel the energy from the audience just watching this, because this is the first time we're getting to see this world realized on a big screen. So to see all this,
it's so nuts, right? Like,
yeah,
like as just a fantasy sort of proposition, the idea of these Amazon warriors. Why haven't we seen this kind of thing over and over again in other? Because the Amazon idea isn't exclusive to Wonder Woman.
No.
Why haven't we seen women warriors represented like this in lots of movies? Like that whole sequence on the island could have been something out of Lord of the Rings.
Anything.
Lots of other cool things.
It made me realize that I miss Xena Warrior Princess.
Yeah,
like
totally.
It made me realize like that show was way ahead of its time, really, and then nothing else came after it. Like something for, women and men loved that show. It wasn't just, it was for everyone, and it just felt like I feel this movie is for everyone. But getting to see the young Diana grow up and like just see how.
Oh man, I got chills with that, right? Because of course I'm thinking about my kid,
little Ruby. Yeah.
I wish that the movie wasn't quite as kick-ass as it was somehow, like,
so you can
so I could take her. She's only 5 though, so she's too young for this, but to see this little warrior Diana, this little kid, was amazing at the beginning of the movie. I
know, and have her mom so protective of her, and just to really feel those emotions from the queen, and knowing that she, she's the god killer, she is, but she can never have that revealed to her because once she knows what's real, the bad guy's going to find her sooner. Like the more she knows, the sooner she'll be found, which is so real.
Yeah.
That just goes back into just like true storytelling in any kind of story that you see or any kind of superhero movie that you watch. Anytime the hero knows, that's when the bad things happen. So her mom was just really in her heart and soul just trying to protect this young thing that she loves so much and she was so grateful to have. But you just get reminded that no, this woman is a god. She was like Zeus made her.
Yeah.
She was a god meant to destroy all evil things in this world. So leaving that island. That was one thing that I kind of wish the scenes, watching it again, I wish that, when they go to the mom and she says those things again, like, should you have told her? She was asked if you should have told her if she was a god killer. And she said, no, the more she knows, the sooner he'll find her. I wish that scene had been switched with Gal or Wonder Woman looking back at the island and seeing it disappear. I wish that when she saw the island disappear, that was the last time we would see the island too, only because we never get to see it again. And it was just such a sad, profound moment because she never gets to go back.
Yeah, she left Utopia.
Utopia
to help humanity, which is part of
her
core. But
didn't deserve her.
Is it Themyscira? How do you say it? Themyscira?
Themyscira.
Themyscira. Okay, well, let's be honest though. The island sequence, as good as it is and as cool looking as it is, would not be anywhere near as fantastic if not for Robin Wright, because she holds it all down in that chunk.
That girl is fire.
She's so. You want to talk power? She's power on House of Cards, man. She's good. She is like she's the heart of House of Cards. Dark.
It's crazy
heart.
to have those two things out kind of simultaneously, because I was watching House of Cards, like just finishing it as I went into see Wonder Woman. So I was like, oh god. Like it's kind of jarring to see her in
ferocious in this.
Oh man, she's ferocious and everything, but to see her and have her train and that was honestly like, it was so cool. One of the negative things again that I would say, I don't want to get into too many negatives right now, but the whole accent thing starts to get to you when you watch it a second time. Like at first you're just taking in everything and everything's wonderful, and then the second time you really get to critique it. So that was something that, like, obviously I believed all the women there, like they were trying.
Well, I think they tried to kind of approximate an accent that Gal Gadot was going to have or could get to, right? Because she wasn't going to sort of Americanize. I mean, I it fits with the idea that this is like ripped right from ancient Greek,
Yeah.
drama. I think that all kind of makes sense in some ways. But yes, everybody's got a slightly different tone to the way they express themselves. But that whole sequence with Diana growing up, and then it ends with her putting her wristbands together and that power shock, and it sends Robin Wright's character flying, and she looks like just that hurt everybody, and that was the first time I think I was like, holy shit, this is going to be incredible, And then
it was awesome, like her realizing her power.
Yeah, it was very cool.
Yeah, I loved the way she met Steve. I love all of that. Like, I love the whole beach sequence, and like that's the thing with this, is that you can't live in these love moments for too long, because you can't appreciate love unless there is war, unfortunately, and there is a lot of that. So the storming of the beach, really, by these Germans,
fast. It happened so fast.
Like, how'd they get there so quickly?
Yeah. Well,
like, how?
Editors. There were people cutting things and
wait, editing.
And then we're into a battle. Yeah, but I loved I loved the way the Steve Trevor and Diana Prince stuff started, and I liked the way that it evolved. I thought that the two actors were terrific against each other. I thought they had a ton of charisma. I think that Chris Pine is an amazing actor. Like, he's really sort of maturing into this person that he's always had talent, but now he's got that. I don't know if you saw Hell or High Water, but he was incredible in that film. That was
okay, because I was gonna say, like, he kind of is just playing the same character that I've seen him play most of the time.
Well, he's the leading man, but there's a soulful sort of, like, giving up type quality, like he gives of himself type quality that
for sure
I think comes from maturity. I don't think you can, and I think he's a great Captain Kirk. Let's be honest. He was a great casting decision for that role, because there's an element there. There's this. It's kind of fatherly. It's kind of like he's going to take care of us, kind of a guy. He's a leader, right? And he's a good foil for the most powerful woman on Earth.
Absolutely.
You can see why they would care about each other.
Yeah. I mean, how do you, first of all, very strong man to not only have, made the moves on Wonder Woman right away. Like, he knew his place. He didn't try anything that she didn't want. Like, there is some love there, and there is a little, like, the tiniest little love scene. Oh, I wish that was expanded a little bit more. little love scene between Steve and Diana. Damn. And that's another thing too, is that this movie gives you really eye candy. Like, it's eye candy for the men, it's eye candy for the women, just to see first of all, Gal Gadot is friggin' stunning. Like, I don't even, just as a woman appreciating another woman's beauty, like, just to see that on screen. But like Chris, like, he's not bad to look at either. So you have these very attractive people that aren't there because they're attracted to one another. They're there because they're there for the greater good, and they want to help the greater good. So I love that there wasn't too much of that. Like, there wasn't flirting. There wasn't any of that. They were there for a reason, and they executed. There could have been a lot more flirting, but there wasn't, and I appreciate it.
Well, and I think that the flirting that was there was smart. Like, when she asks, are you an average man? Where you're from? She says, I'm above average.
Yeah, like, I'm kind of.
I'm a 7 or an 8 or something. I thought that was all very funny, and I really admired the way they progressed through that. I liked all of the London stuff. I loved the obvious homage to the Christopher Reeve Superman movie, and I think that's part of this movie working, is that it's. You can see that it is working hard to capture and create that charm. It wasn't an accident, but it does have it, by the choices of the performers. The script is smart enough. The locations look great. The action was filmed and put together in a beautiful way. But at the core of it, there's this heart that actually does work. It actually care. You care about every one of the people that are in this film,
Yeah, you care. You do care. Like, I wasn't sure about Gal as an actress, because you don't really see her in anything that she can actually show off her acting chops in any way.
Yes.
But you do feel her love, and I think it would be hard not to feel the compassion for this character, and the compassion this character would feel for just human beings in general, and like fighting for those who can't fight, and that is her lot in life. That is her that is what she's meant to do, is to help people that can't fight for themselves. And I love that she calls out these generals that just sit behind a desk, like, you fight with no honor. You're not, like, how dare you? You should be ashamed of yourself. And that's so real, and it plays to, you know, so much of the shit going on in this world right now. And that's why I think this movie is important. And I wish that, like, there were certain things that were executed better, like the whole accent thing, but also, like, I really wish that the German soldiers would have at least talked to each other in German. We had a little bit of, you know, other languages with subtitles, because of course Wonder Woman speaks hundreds of languages, and you get to experience that just a little bit. But the audience is smart enough to have followed along with, even if the half the movie was in German. That would have been something really cool. And that's what I loved about Inglourious Basterds so much. And it was so genius, because, like, how we loved Emmanuelle Mimieux. We loved that character so much. She spoke in French. Like, it's just, you still fall in love with these characters, even though they're speaking a different language. We can follow in subtitles. Like, that could have happened. I just don't know if maybe the studio didn't allow that.
I mean, they're trying to market this as a global comic book movie for teens on up, you know? So I feel I can understand the business decision not to do that, but aesthetically it would have been cool, and it would have been more representational of the maturity that some of the more modern comics kind of embody. Absolutely. But you know, I love the fact that Wonder Woman is constantly reminding Steve Trevor that she doesn't need him, you know, like, and don't push me around. And he is constantly trying to, you know, assume the role of the man in that time period of sort of being the person in charge and sort of guiding one, but she is fully just saying, get out of my way, don't tell me what to do, and pushing him physically. And it's amazing to watch that, you know, like, we just don't get to see that, and she doesn't. And that's the thing, right? Like, you know that she doesn't need this, like, she's just tolerating all of this BS. She could just go into any one of these rooms and just change the whole conversation like that.
Right, and that's
really
but that's
cool.
what I mean. That's why she's this feminist icon. She is that way because she doesn't just fight for what's right physically. She fights for what's right, you know, emotionally and just in person, in conversations that she has. She's gonna call you out on your bullshit. Because that's what it is. Like, don't be a coward. Don't be a fool. Don't be a liar. Like, this is how the world is. Let me show you, and to lead with love and to lead with compassion. And I think that's something that really all heroes can do. It's just exciting to see it in, like, embodied in a female, because, well, we don't have that on screen. We don't get that.
Yeah, no. So there's two layers of alien in this movie, right? Like, we don't see the Amazon world ever in our fiction. We don't see just, you know, groups of women working together in a peaceful way, protecting themselves. So that's foreign. That's as foreign as going to Krypton. And we don't see a female lead truly not have to rely on the male characters that are central to this. And, you know, and I think that Steve Trevor kind of acknowledges and recognizes. I mean, he does in the movie, in the script, in the performance. He says, the world needs you. The world doesn't need me. I will sacrifice myself, and this is my moment. Don't take it away from me. This is my ability to contribute here. But the world needs, and that's a very beautiful, effective scene and an effective moment in lore. And goddamn, I wish that the other DC movies had come anywhere close to this, you know? Like,
I know.
I still remain a fan of Man of Steel. I know that I might be alone in this, but the scenes that I did like in that were the scenes where there was heart and there was, you know, particularly between the mom and Kevin Costner and the kid and.
I really think it's adorable that you keep trying to sell this movie on me.
I liked that stuff, but they lost all of that. They just lost all of the heart, all of the sort of, you know, connection to, you know, the like caring and compassion that the Marvel movies somehow managed to find, even in all of their noise and din and crazy sort of stuff. Somehow we've really cared about the individuals involved, and Wonder Woman recaptured that, you know. And Man of Steel, for me, I cared about the individuals involved, but not the rest
Man of
it.
Steel was just like irritating AF because he was clearly killing millions of civilians, and then but he's still Superman. Like, that just really bothered me. Although there is some of that in Wonder Woman because she is killing a lot of Germans until finally she has that realization moment with the tank that she's holding and lifting to kill Dr. Poison, or I think that's the name of the bad lady in it. But
that was amazing.
She had the option to completely crush her or to let her go because she chooses love. So again, she did kill a lot of Germans, and I kept thinking while I was watching, like, wait a minute, what if Steve was on a German side and he crash landed and he convinced Gal that they had to go kill the rest of the world because they were evil? You know what I mean? Like, what if that happened? It would become a completely different movie. But no, she obviously is on the right side of things, but still killing innocent people that are just on the wrong side of the war. So you could look at it from that point of view too.
Well, that's what's kind of weird always about using superheroes in the context of an actual war, and they really they blossomed because of World War II, like actual superheroes in mythology and people reading comic books and people reading them in the trenches. And I'm sure there were lots of different variations of superheroes for the other side, but they became this tool really to kind of propel the idea that we had to give more of ourselves and we had to sacrifice. But it is weird to think of any of these heroes killing anyone. That's one of my issues with the first Iron Man movie, even though, he's wiping out terrorists and stuff like that. It just feels, I don't know. And Gal Gadot and Wonder Woman is wiping out Germans and busting through buildings and stuff. And frankly, that's what's shocking about Man of Steel. That's what's shocking about Batman versus Superman. Suicide Squad was just like taking a hammer and bashing it on your head.
Do you know that I haven't watched it for that reason? Like, everybody keeps saying how terrible it is. I'm like, you know what? I don't even want to ruin the idea of what I thought it could be in my mind, because the second you heard that they were doing all these reshoots, like, you know what? Just forget it. Just forget about it. I heard that with Wonder Woman, they only had to reshoot one scene. Which is pretty amazing.
Well, it was a smart movie, and I'm sure a lot of it was framed with an appreciation for the struggles that the DCEU had already gone through, and they probably, had their own battles with the studio creatively, but they probably had a much simpler, because Jeff Johns, I think, stepped up quite a bit more during that time period as well and said, look,
good,
and he's been, intimately involved with the Berlanti universe, the stuff that's on television every week. And that's not perfect, but I think it represents the comic lore in a much sharper way. And I think that's what this movie was all about, is let's go back to the roots. And this really should have been the kickoff. They really should have started the whole thing with Wonder Woman. For a couple reasons. One of them is that she's going back further in time than we've seen in any of the other films. So she is, they say it in the marketing, she's the birth of justice, right? Like they're telling us that this is the person that really leads the Justice League forming. And, in the context of the silly Batman versus Superman narrative, she really kind of is, right? Like, she's the one that figures everything out and tells Batman what the hell's going on. And the tone was perfect here, and they should have been able to build on that. And instead, it's still a crazy, messy pizza, but who knows now what Joss Whedon.
I know, but you have to. But then again, it took so long to get this on the big screen anyway, just to have a female superhero lead on the big screen anyway. So I kind of understand why I was always like, well, let's just go to Batman first. Let's just go to Superman first. Like, these are the ones that people know, people love, that people are used to. Yeah. And but Wonder Woman has been around, for a very long time. She was created a long time ago. So to only have had a few glimpses or like the small screen things, now that we've seen it on the big screen seems completely unfair, that we should have had this a long time ago. Yes, but
the TV show ran in the 70s for 4 years. I used to watch that when I was a kid. That was a popular show. Linda Carter became a massive superstar around the world, and there was also Jamie Summers and the Bionic Woman and stuff like that. There's been an appetite for this kind of stuff. It's not this foreign crazy idea. We just, something happened at Hollywood where they just got totally gun shy and said we can only go down this way. And frankly, now Marvel's on the back foot. Now they have to deliver, right? There is absolutely no reason why Black Widow shouldn't have her own movie, and we need if Evangeline Lilly kicks ass as the Wasp in the new Ant-Man movie, why doesn't she get her own movie?
Right.
I'm super stoked that there's a Batgirl movie. I'm super stoked that they're going to try again with Harley Quinn and build a separate standalone Harley Quinn kind of story there.
That would be great to see. But no, I just don't. We just don't know where any of this stuff is going to go, right? Because there's always going to be that internet backlash. There's always going to be misogynists out there feeling as though things they love are being taken away from them just so women won't be offended. There's going to be a lot of that.
I hope that Sony looks at their decisions around Ghostbusters, and even though the first one sucked, I hope they say, look, let's try it again. Let's go with a different cast. Let's even hire the same cast, but let's try with a different director, different tone. Let's try to be goofier and funnier.
Yeah, I don't know.
And
I don't know if the cast was the problem. I think it was mostly just the script thing, and it wasn't scary at all. And there was just obviously you're just missing that. You want that same feeling that you get when you watch the original Ghostbuster, right? Like you want to see that happen with the women.
Well, you do, but you don't want it to look like you're a theme park ride version of the first Ghostbusters. You want it to. You don't want it to feel like merchandising. You want it to feel like an organic, built from the ground up. Let's refresh everything, but with a new kind of coat of paint, and let's make it for this new generation. But let's keep some of the core principles of what worked last time.
Right.
But back to Wonder Woman. I think my favorite scene was the no man's land stuff, and then,
definitely.
And then what she does in the village, where she's just going from room to room, just destroying everybody, but recognizing the fragility and the need of all the people as well. But I also liked a lot of the little moments too, like when she was in the UK and she sees a baby and she just freaks out. Oh, there's a baby, because they don't have babies on Themyscira. Right? I don't know how to pronounce.
Yeah, Themyscira. Yeah.
Themyscira. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Even like her mom's name is like Hippoathy.
Yeah.
Hippoathy.
Yeah.
Like it's hard things to remember, or like names to wrap your tongue around.
Yeah.
But those scenes were excellent. Of course, anytime like her little theme music pops up when she
I love that.
goes.
Yeah. Yes.
So it was just like so wonderful, so fantastic. But even just seeing her seeing her go, like my favorite moments really were on the island with her growing as a woman and realizing her power as just right on the island with the people that were around her whole life, and then having the strength to say no, like who will I be if I stay? And just thinking about that moment still gives me chills, and like I well up a little bit in my eyes. Like this movie gave me a few moments of like just teary eyes, just knowing that, like feeling the emotion that a woman would feel in those moments. Like you're leaving your family, your mother, you're saying goodbye to her, and have those moments where her mother's like, you have been my greatest lover, my greatest joy, and today you are my greatest sorrow. And like, oh God, the emotion behind all of that, and just leaving with this man that she doesn't know, and with this belief that, she's going for a specific reason, and then getting to this place and realizing, you know what, you guys don't fucking, like, you don't deserve me. Yeah. You don't deserve me. Like how, like you're all bad. You're all corrupt. There's something inherently wrong with man, and just realizing this in this moment, like everything she fought for was wrong. It was all a lie. And to know that she can never go back, like you're seeing all these emotions, and she's playing it so well in these little one-on-ones with Steve. Yeah. Those are the emotional parts that I'll hold on to. There's some, stuff in the middle that's like not as entertaining, like when Steve is, I just had a discussion with Kyle Chenard about this on Twitter, because he fell asleep a little bit, he said, during the movie. I'm like, what? When? And he described...
Caffeine is a wonderful thing, Kyle.
Oh my God, what? But it was during that time where it's like Steve was kind of putting his band together, basically, and like the time in between when you're in London, and there was, I understand why he would have not fallen asleep. I did yawn a little bit during those moments, but
they forced that a bit, didn't they? They put together this
band of merry men.
Yeah, it's very much like the Howling Commandos in Captain America, and they're just a bunch of weird, stereotypical. There's like an Arabian gentleman, and there's a Scottish guy, and there's a Native American, and so they're going down the checkpoints of ethnicities and backgrounds.
Right. I did love the Native American edition, because you did get that point where it's like he's doesn't belong to anyone, because everything was taken from him. Well, who took everything from you? Oh, his men, like the English. So it was good to have that in there too, just for a little history callback.
And they all charm you at the end of it too. That was the thing. I mean, it felt like the movie could have gone off the rails in lots of different places, but at the end, you actually ended up caring about all those guys as well. You know?
Yeah, of course, because you see them struggle together. You see them realize that, you know what, this is the end for us. Let's all hug each other and embrace and realize.
And I would say even more effectively than half of the cast of Rogue One. You know, it took like 3 times before I really knew the characters' names, first of all, in Rogue One.
Oh, yeah, I didn't
and then
know.
I really cared about them because then I'd seen them in this movie several times already. But now I know them and I love them as character types in Star Wars. But even after the first viewing of Wonder Woman, these weird characters, which I don't think they're really from DC lore. It feels like they were all built for the film. They were cool, you know. They were fun additions, but not the high points of the movie, but a nice bit of color in the movie, you know.
Yeah, I walked away from the first screening thinking, okay, well, that Scottish guy was kind of bullshit. He didn't actually do anything. But then you realize after that, it's okay. He was an important part because not everyone can fight all of the time, and you have to appreciate the things that maybe they love and appreciate things that they bring to the table, even if it's not to help you fight. So just a lot of little life lessons in this movie that you don't really notice maybe at the time, but then you walk away from thinking about them later. And that's what I loved about this movie too, is walking away from it and not having my own thoughts, but listening to other people and hear the things that they had to say outside of the movie. Obviously I'm a lady, I get to go into the ladies' room. So I was in the ladies' room before my screening, the second screening, and hearing the women coming out. You
gotta get all your farts out, right?
Getting all my farts out.
Yeah, okay.
It's okay. I'll practice the theater too.
Oh, okay.
But have all these ladies come in and discussing how excited they were to see all these women on the island together, fighting together, and just how empowered they felt after this movie. And it just makes me excited to hear other women feeling the same things that I'm feeling and seeing the same things that I'm seeing, and appreciating that, and actually hearing people say why haven't we seen this before? Why has it taken so long? All these realizations coming through now. But again, I see, you see men walking out of the audience, they enjoyed it too, but for a lot of men that I've spoken to about this, it comes out well, yeah, it was good, but it's kind of just another superhero movie. You know, it was one of those things where they don't feel as, obviously they can't feel that empowerment because they've had superhero movies on screen representing their gender for so long. So how can they tap into the feeling that most women are feeling walking out of this?
And even if Hollywood had tried a few Wonder Woman attempts, even if they hadn't have been good, it would have been okay. But she was wiped out of our sort of popular culture, except for the comic stuff and some animated stuff. Until Dawn of Justice, and she was arguably one of the best things about that god-awful film. And it actually isn't god-awful, it's just really disappointing. It's really
Man of Steel was god-awful.
No, Man of Steel was actually pretty solid film. It just doesn't make sense that she has disappeared for so long, 40 years, or 50 years.
Well, we can be upset about that, or maybe we can just embrace the fact that maybe we were waiting for this one for so long. And there are little things that I wish would have been different, of course, the whole accent language thing, but those are little things in the grand scheme of a fantastic story, of a great movie that is executed by, a female director that was given a shot with his big budget that
created
does not happen.
A terrific origin story for an amazing hero that absolutely deserved this moment in this movie. And I think it's time to talk about the ending, which is obviously the thing that people have been dancing around. You don't really see too much stuff about this, but
now we do spoilers.
Now we do some pretty big spoilers.
Because there was a twist, kind of.
There is a pretty darn good twist, especially if you know the prominence of this character. And I have to be frank, I don't know everything about the importance of Ares in the DC lore. But I've seen him in various things. I've seen him in some animated stuff. I think he was in the first Injustice game, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, I just love the fact that it's taken, like, if you just any English class that you've taken in high school, like, you learn about Greek mythology.
Yes.
So you know of these characters regardless if you are a comic book fan or not. So
right.
you get to, talk up, like, everybody in the audience will know exactly who this character is. You know who Zeus is. You know about his children. You know all this because of Homer's Odyssey. So you already know the evil that Ares is. He's the original evil, really.
He's the god of war, right? He's the guy that wants to see all kinds of, Kratos is always yelling out, Ares, in his games. It's an amazing character to throw in and sort of surprise us at the end. It's like a full-on escalation because Wonder Woman is on the hunt for Ares for big chunks of the movie. She knows that she's got to kill him. She has the equipment to take him out, and she's dead set on wiping him out and stopping this bloodlust that humans seem to have obtained through Ares' sort of influence, and so she wants to stop all of this stuff. And then you think that she does kill him, but no, she doesn't kill him. He's somebody else. He's
she just ends up killing some asshole German.
Yeah.
And now she's got to kill the real deal. But when he reveals himself, just like, what? Wait a minute. What the fuck?
Well, and
it was one of those.
Well, and that's when this fierce warrior, this Amazon princess, really becomes Wonder Woman. She's a deity. She's flying. She's got the powers of a god, and she faces a god, and she recognizes what kind of responsibility she has and what kind of power she has. And Ares is nasty as hell, and there's this incredible sequence in this movie that I love where you see him, and it's David Thewlis, I believe is his last name. Incredible character actor, has had a terrific career in lots of really big movies. Naked, I think, was one of his big breakout movies.
Didn't we see him in Sherlock Holmes as well?
He's in tons of stuff. He's one of those Gary Oldman caliber type of character actors that appears and stuff. So he's kind of buried, and I knew he was going to be something bigger than he was in the movie because he's too good of an actor. I think he's in the Harry Potter movies too, but. But he transforms into this fierce warrior god, and they Spinal Tap it up to 11 with the effects and all the stuff that's going on.
Like the whole when he makes the eyes in his helmet, I'm like, oh. Damn,
it's so good though. Like that's just like comic book nirvana at the end. It's crazy, it's excessive, but it's like, man, these are comic book panels that are ripping off the page, and it's like, holy crap, they're going there. This is incredible.
Well, yeah, and I just love the exposition too, because he even says, like, you're not what I was, or I'm not what you imagined me to be. Like, he just highlights the fact that, listen, I get you weren't expecting me, but this is the form he's taken, and he explains his story, and then I love how he completely destroys that sword. Like, like, she was so confused, and he's like, you're the god killer. And I love how she, like, ties the lasso around him, like, I compel you to tell me the truth. Like, I am. Like, he doesn't give a shit, because he is going to destroy her no matter what. Like, you better side with me, or I'm going to destroy you. And he's so honest and open about anything. He doesn't need to lie, because this is the truth. This is the truth about mankind. I showed this to my father. I showed this to my brothers and sisters. I'm showing this to you. Come join me. If not, I'm sorry. I got to take you out too, just like the rest of our brothers and sisters. I loved all of that, the whole story.
Yeah, he's killed all of these other gods under the pantheon, and I loved all of that. I loved that he had been whispering in the ears of different warriors and leaders to try to keep this war going, because that's what he feeds on, right? I loved all of that stuff. And I read something that actually was kind of interesting, and I certainly, I think since Force Awakens has come out, really kind of responded to this idea that these movies have a life of speculation after we see them. And it takes me back to the 80s, and it takes me back to seeing Star Wars and Indiana Jones and all that stuff for the first time. And there were huge gaps between those films, like before we got sequels. So in that time, and there was no internet, and it was just rife with speculation and gossip and schoolyard conversations about what happened. And that starts to happen now, I think, with movies that really resonate, that really hit and work, like Rogue One or Force Awakens, and I'm seeing that with Wonder Woman, and a little bit with the hyper fans of the DCEU, the fans of Batman versus Superman out there. But I read that because we did go back to this ancient sort of group of gods, they're kind of like the old gods, and of course what is sort of being relayed as our enemies in Justice League are the new gods, and there's a kind of a crossover, a tie in all of that stuff, right, with Darkseid and Steppenwolf. And I don't know all of the intricacies or all of the details and all of that stuff because I was mostly focused on the more gritty urban streets of Gotham City when I was doing my comic reading for the most part, my DC comic reading. But I'm excited about that idea that there is some cool crossover there. And the other cool thing that I read, and this is just conjecture as well, is that Ares, I think, uses Poseidon's trident to kill another god in a flashback sequence in Wonder Woman, and somehow Diana ends up with the trident and.
She gives it to Aquaman?
It could be that's the trident that Aquaman has in his, which, that kind of shit is just wonderful, right? And honestly, we need that if DC movies are going to be successful and if they're going to finally get this crazy collection of movies to kind of play and work together. We need stuff like that.
We'll see. I don't know. I have no idea how this Justice League thing is going to pan out, but I don't. I'm a little scared. Obviously, I'm really excited to see Jason Momoa. And I don't I want to see some kind of relationship cultivate between Bruce and Diana a little bit more, because there's never really been that. Like, Wonder Woman has never really had a love interest technically outside of Steve. That's been the only thing. But again, because we don't, as a woman, you don't need to be in love. You don't want to be in love. Same thing goes for men. We don't need to have these forced love stories. But I think that, I don't know, I just, as a regular human being watching these things, we want to feel some kind of chemistry between these characters in a deeper way.
That would be new for the movies. I think that people would be kind of up in arms about the idea of Bruce Wayne and Diana Prince hooking up. I know that Superman and Wonder Woman hooked up in some of the stories, but I don't remember
that doesn't work. That doesn't work.
Well, because they're super beings and they're I'm sure there has been a storyline where Bruce and Diana hooked up in the books before. I don't remember it, but
he's not. Superman's not allowed to because he has Lois Lane and that's his love. He can't. He's not allowed to be with Wonder Woman. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
He's not allowed.
I don't know how it happened, but it happened. There were big smooches, and they were lovers for a while in the books. But I think that's all been erased. I have this kind of. I think that there might be a what's that called when you come back to life again? What's that called?
What, reincarnation?
Yeah, reincarnation. I think there might be a reincarnation type. Oh, we lost you.
Oh, sorry. I just went to low battery mode. It's
okay. Well, I guess that means we got to wrap it up here. I think there might be a reincarnation type dealio where we see Steve Trevor pop up again, or a descendant of Steve Trevor that looks just like
Captain America.
That looks just like Chris Pine, because I think that they're probably going to like the success of this movie, and I think they're going to feel like, why did we let this guy go? I think they're going to try to work him back.
Interesting, or really play up the whole things that Diana learned when she was in school and she read all those novels about reproduction and love and pleasures of the flesh, as she calls it, and how you don't really need a man for those things. So maybe she'll have a relationship with a woman. She could.
Wow, progressive.
She could.
Yeah, could happen. That would be would be crazy. Okay, I think we are going to wrap this up because I know your battery is dying. But before we do, let's take some questions here. Holy crap, sure. The chat has.
Oh, a lot.
Yeah, we have quite a few things.
Shoot.
I don't know if they're all questions, but we have a lot of stuff. Drifting Pirate Gaming. I saw that you said Man of Steel was magnificent or superb or something. I saw something there.
Of course, you had to pull that one comment out. Give me a break.
The only ones is Logan and Nolan's Batman film. Vic was dead on with his review about her compassion for people. Neil Temple. How's it going, Neil? Superman of 78 is another great movie of all time. It reminds me of things were so different back in the 70s. Jonathan Barker, great observation there. Marissa is back on EPN. Alex Wright, yes, she is. We've been having a lot of fun with this convo, and it could go on longer, but Marissa's phone is going to die. So, Superman in DCU doesn't come across like Superman from comics or Justice League show. So we were so busy chatting back and forth that they were just having their own chat conversation about Wonder Woman, I think. Alex Wright wanted to know where I got the BB-8 cup. Yes, it was from Disneyland. Taz is correct. I'm amazed that Wonder Woman didn't have any deleted scenes. Yep, that's right. Somebody said that they should give Patty Jenkins the Man of Steel 2. They should give her the sequel. And I think that would be incredible. I think that would be a very wise move. And honestly, like, Zack Snyder's been so embattled, you know, like there's been so much fervor and hate his way, and lots of supporters too, that maybe the wise thing for him to do is to take more of a producer role and you know, supervise a little bit more,
maybe,
and let some of the other
maybe
directors
he's good
come
at
up.
taking like actual stories that have already been formed and making a script for a movie, because that's what he did basically with a couple of other guys for this one. Because it's a story. This is a story that's, you know, mostly pulled from her origin story. So there isn't a lot changed here. Yeah. So maybe that's what he's good at, because this was clearly successful.
Yeah.
Although again, the whole language thing, maybe that was his call. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting, right? Like, to see how Zack Snyder sort of integrates into the DC world, right? Because I feel like if Justice League is a big success, that Joss Whedon is going to get a lot of the credit for that. You know what's happening, right? Zack Snyder took a break from Justice League because his daughter she committed suicide.
Oh, God.
Yeah, she committed suicide, and it affected his family, and he tried to go back to work. It's the worst. It's the absolute worst.
Oh, God, I didn't know that.
And so he took a break, and now Joss Whedon is actually helping to write and direct and edit the rest of the film to finish it off. And so it's a very uncomfortable, very weird thing, and I don't wish any bad stuff on Zack Snyder at all. But it will be very interesting to see the reception now after the positive response to Wonder Woman, if Justice League will carry that torch, and if it's going to be Joss Whedon and his contributions that get all of the credit now, or if Zack Snyder just comes back and everything is hunky dory. You know, we'll see.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Haters gonna hate. People are gonna make their assumptions. That's something that I'm actually trying to do, just to be a better human being, is to stop making assumptions about things.
Yeah.
And people and places and ideas, and that would just help the world be a better place. Maybe if I can do it, other people can do it too.
That's very Wonder Woman of you. I think that's good.
Thank you.
Apropos, I wish they would make an X-Men movie with Cyclops, Wolverine, Rogue. So Leaf Fan B is basically casting his X-Men movie. Wean yourself off of coffee. So people are trying to help Mr. Precision on his coffee habit. I
don't know how you would do that, man.
Caffeine is a cause of stomach acid. People are going into the health benefits of weaning yourself off of coffee in the chat. Spoilers, Aries sucks. No, wrong. Aries does not suck.
Aries is not what?
Mr. Precision says Aries sucks.
Oh, that he didn't like that either. Okay, listen, Kyle, I have a couple of things for you. I feel like you're annoyed because you're off coffee.
Yeah, I think it's the coffee thing.
That's affecting your mood.
We have to fix that.
Here's something. The whole thing with coffee, and it has a lot of acidity, right? So to balance that, what I've actually started to do, health tip, is put a half a teaspoon of, this is going to sound gross, baking soda into the coffee. Yeah. So it alkalizes.
Well, you know,
right?
you know about the butter coffee, right? That's the
but that's different.
Does that help with the acidity? Is that part of the reason why they're doing?
I have no idea. I haven't done the butter thing, but do the baking soda thing.
Okay, all right.
It sounds gross. You get used to it though. It's just because then I have the alkaline test strips, because we're supposed to. That's how our body fights off infection, is to be more alkalized, I think it's called. Anyway, you test Yeah, you have to make sure that even if you look at like water testing, we're supposed to make sure that the strips are fully like dark green and not yellow, because that means that there's more acid in it. Acid's bad for your body. So that's why I use the excuse to drink coffee, but if I put baking soda in it, it makes things a little bit better.
And it doesn't taste any different?
Yeah, it does.
It sounds disgusting, but
it tastes a little, aluminum-y.
That sounds gross. We turned this into assholes and Americanos somehow.
Oh, right, yeah. No, I just want to help Kyle with his addiction. Maybe that would help, because it won't taste as exciting, but it's still coffee, and I need my coffee. I feel like you do too.
I go off and I come back on, and when I come back on, I go, why the hell did I ever go back off on this stuff? It really turns a day into a beautiful day, doesn't it?
Yeah. So wow, that sounds like an addict talking.
Life is amazing.
I mean, we should try to get off sugar. Let's try to get off sugar.
Oh,
Keep the coffee.
I'm off the sugar.
And you've been off sugar forever.
No, yeah. I'm okay with that. Yeah. So what do you give Wonder Woman then, now that you've seen it twice? Remember, we scored out of 10 on Reviews on the Road. Remember that?
It's a score out of 10. I do remember. I have not scored something in a while. I'm.
How many Xboxes out of 10 would you give Wonder Woman?
No, I'm just trying to take away my subjective feelings toward the movie.
Right.
Just being a woman, like having a vagina going into this thing, you're gonna feel even more excited walking out of it. So
take away your vagina.
So I'm gonna take away my vagina. If I take away my vagina from this movie review, I would give it a 9.
Awesome. So nine vaginas out of 10.
Yeah. If I kept my vagina in it, I give it a 10.
I give it a 9 as well. I think it's a terrific superhero flick, a great origin story for a powerful, important, wonderful, no pun intended, superhero. And Patty Jenkins killed it. She really made something special and cool, and she cast the right people, and I can't wait to see it again, and I can't wait till my daughter grows up a little bit and she can see that. And
what does Blake give it out of 10?
4 out of 10. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Blake, come on.
He's not into it.
Blake, I understand you giving it like a 7 or something, but no.
Well, he tweeted a 4, but that might have been a knee-jerk reaction. Blake, what would you give Wonder Woman now?
4.9.
4.9. So he went up 0.9.
Blake, I think you're forgetting how terrible some of the superhero movies are that we've seen. This is actually up there.
Kyle says that's high for Blake. All right.
Kyle in with his zinger.
So what's next for you? What are you going to do now?
I'm hosting if you guys are in Toronto, come down to Raiders Esports Bar tomorrow. I'm going to be there helping a fantastic Xbox gamer reach a 250,000 gamer score.
Crazy.
We're going to be there. It's at 7 o'clock, I think, tomorrow night.
Okay.
So that'll be live. Also, if you want to watch, you can watch it on, I think, Mixer and Facebook Live.
Okay.
And then we're going to E3. I'm going to see you guys there.
Yep.
Just covering the Xbox stuff. So if you follow me on Instagram, I'm mrob29. On Instagram, I usually post stuff to my stories, so you can see everything happening mostly in real time.
Yep.
And then I do I keep committing to this YouTube thing, and then I keep just it's really hard.
It's work.
But I do have a YouTube channel. If you just search Marissa Roberto, you'll find my YouTube channel.
Yes.
I do post there at least once a month. I'm trying to do once a week. It's giving me hemorrhoids. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try, because I do want to offer something to the people that have dedicated and subscribed to my channel. So I want to give them something. I bought a ukulele. I'm playing my ukulele.
Awesome.
So there's that.
Yeah.
And so a little bit of that, but
and soon you'll be streaming with your green screen back there.
Now that I have this green screen, that's step 1 of a million. So I'm trying to. If anybody wants to guide me step by step on how to do this effing
Francisco must be so happy that there's a giant green screen in his house, though. That must be just the coolest thing to come home to every day.
He saw when I opened it up, he's like, "You're never going to use that." I'm like, oh. and he was right. I haven't, except for this right now.
That's amazing. Yeah, I saw your profile pictures on a couple things. Like, oh, I guess she's been using the green screen on some cool things.
Just for that.
Yeah.
Just for this. So now I have a green screen. You can put whatever, a bunch of dongs. I'm sure that could happen.
You put that
dongs
out there.
Everywhere.
Yeah, you put that suggestion. People do what you want right there.
Just go
crazy.
for it. See what happens.
So we're going to see you at the, will you be streaming then, I guess, some stuff from the Xbox press conference, like as it's happening?
Yeah, so that'll be on the Xbox Canada Instagram page. Is going to be that. I'm going to post to my own story as well. And then on their Facebook page, Xbox Canada's Facebook page, we're going to be doing some live stuff with that as well. So if you follow Xbox Canada on Facebook, you can do that. Also, you can follow me on Facebook too. Every social I am at and on, and trying to produce content for. But so I'll be doing, you can follow along with that as well. I don't know what you guys are doing for E3, if you're doing like some live stuff, but
we're doing live streams of the press conferences this year because there are too many of them on too many days. And I said, screw that. We're not going to just go down there and live for a week. We're just going to stream from here, and that gives us a chance to actually create content as it's happening rather than collect a bunch of content a week later and then put it out a week later. But we're coming down for the once the show opens, we'll be there for the entirety of the thing. So we'll see you around.
Yeah, I'm only going to go like live to the Xbox thing. Everything else I'm going to stream because, again, you're right. It's just easier to be alone with it, have your own thoughts about it, and not because once you're with the crowd, like you kind of get lost in the hype of everything too, right? You can't really form your own thoughts. You're kind of like lost in the excitement of the whole event. So, I agree with the way that you guys are going about it for sure.
Yeah, it's weird because I'm so used to being down there for the whole thing, but I think we're going to have a good time. We're going to be doing some streaming.
You can still live tweet. You can still live tweet from your living room.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, my friend. Awesome to have you on.
So great seeing you.
I can't wait to see you live and in person in Los Angeles, and I can't wait for us to do this again.
And we're going to see it on your Instagram story.
And we'll see it on my Instagram story, yes. This will be the only one I ever make, but this will be the one that you'll see it on.
I want to be a part of it.
Okay, we'll see you soon. Thank you, Rob.
Okay, ciao, guys.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Thank you for your support and for your questions and comments. And if you watch this later, thank you so much. I'm thanking the laptop. This is so ridiculous.
Like and sub.
Yes, like and sub. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.